My website is called Betteringu, the University of the Bettering, where we try to map the interconnectedness of everything and make everything better. Like many of us, I'm extremely concerned with the direction that the internet is heading. We are at the mercy of corporate interests who tend to be at the mercy of government interests who don't really have an ethical take on censorship, and they tend to have no problem with hijacking our attention systems, feeding us a bunch of very addictive um, but unimportant nonsense, and ultimately ruining our ability to focus on things. Google is much more concerned with pleasing their advertisers than they are about helping create a better world for us to live in. So the mission here is to create a better internet graph, which would act as something of an internet library where we map the interconnectedness of everything in an unbiased and transparent way. And of course, since I don't trust that the thing I build would be the most optimal way that we could possibly do things, we're opening up the gates and allowing anybody to enter the competition to see who can build the better ing. And the goal of Better is to create incentive structures to reward those who do a better job based off of any number of criteria. Probably one of the best places to start, though, is good old democracy. So this website is not an internet graph. We are simply discussing what the mission and goal of the internet graph is, a better internet graph, and putting out just a general idea of what we're hoping to accomplish. I built my website using a few different tools. I deployed my website using a service called Fleek, which is one of the coolest uh, services in the web3 ecosystem, in my opinion. It allows you to deploy your website very, very easily from GitHub over to the interplanetary file system, which is a peer-to-peer data and storage system and protocol. It is admittedly a little bit slow, but it's extremely robust and difficult to take down. It is similar to BitTorrent in the way that anybody who has the file that is being requested can share it with the person who's asking for it. This allows me to upload my website for free. It is hosted for free. I don't have to pay a service like Squarespace or Wix or whatever to host it for me, which tends to be the main cost of running a website. That information has to come from somewhere. If you're not running the server yourself, you have to pay somebody else to run the server for you, unless you use a service like the Interplanetary File System. I'm not going to go too deep into the technology behind how the Interplanetary File System works. I think that probably would be boring for most of you, but I'll instead move over and talk about the Ethereum name system. Every website needs to have a domain name, and the DNS system that most people use is something like a centralized paybook, a phone book, where all of the different web addresses are stored and then they're linked with the IP address of the actual computer address where you, say, find Netflix. These services are centralized, and services like GoDaddy or GoogleDomains.com basically just scoop up all of the domains um, with no real like right to be able to do so, and they sell them to you because they got there first. Uh, you own your domain name, but it's a very flimsy ownership and it's not very robust, which is why I use the Ethereum name system, which is one of the coolest things in the world of Web3. It is the only NFT that I think has any value at the moment because it actually offers some functionality. You can use this not only to be your address where people can send you Ether and have it be a little bit more cleanly formatted rather than some big wallet key like we're used to. This is instead a simple name. My name is Betteringu.eth. And as you see, this also operates as a website domain, which is very, very powerful, very versatile. It's very cool. And so I wanted to use it in my website to show respect for people who are at the cutting edge of technology. In order to meet the stipulations of the Virgo Season 1 challenge, I had to get a little bit creative. When you host a website on the interplanetary file system, there's no real server, which limits your ability to operate certain functions. It's what you call a static website rather than a dynamic website. And so, in order to allow people to sign up for a newsletter, I would have to get a little bit creative in the way that you submit an email form. It took some time to figure out exactly how I'd be able to do this, but I made it work.
So the email contact sheet has been a huge ordeal for me, and I've of course waited till the last minute to submit this. Um, so that's on me. But originally I was using static forms, which is the only free option I could find for getting this to work. They give you HTML, which I threw into my contact.html page, and then using this authentication key that they give you, it will send the form data to your email. And then I created this script with the app scripts function in Google Sheets to look through my emails, parse through the data from this sender, API static forms, send all that to a table, and then I had another function to send the table data an email with the content that I wanted. Unfortunately, I got inundated with spam, and even though this is free, they say that if they think you're misusing it, they will block you. And right when I was testing it for this video, they blocked me. So I had to do some digging, and eventually, because I didn't want to pay for anything and I wanted this to be a video on how to do this for free, it's tricky with a static website to do this if you don't want to pay for anything. Eventually, I found Google Forms, which I used to basically do an email and a comment and a name. And this is the test. This is kind of what it looks like. And then I have a script which sends an email to the people. This is the email. So I'm going to test this real quick just to show that it works. Let's make a temporary email. I already generated this one. And we're going to go to my website. It's in German because I'm in Austria. So there we go. Contact submitted. And as we see, it's here, but right here, this shows that this one has been processed, but this one has not yet. So if we run the script, which I can set this to run every minute. I just haven't done it yet, but it's simple to do over here. But let's run this, and you can see it starts. This one was processed. This one was just sent. And if we go back to our temporary mail, hello tester. And since the Virgo challenge wanted us to not only send an email but provide something of value that we've made, I have been making music every day, and so I included a link to my SoundCloud to give those who listen a better idea of who I am. And finally, in order to meet the requisite of Mamba Mode, I needed to sell something. And so what I did is I started a Patreon, which is in the Support Us page. Although before I link to that, I also included my ENS address, which is just the domain name that I'm using for the website because ENS is amazing. And I am making a vague promise to those who would donate that I will airdrop you free stuff in the future, because that's something you can do with Ethereum, is if you know the address and you are minting anything on the blockchain, any digital assets that you might make, you can just give stuff people for free so long as you are willing to pay the gas fees and you know their address. So that's something I'll do. If you want to give me free money, I will eventually give you free stuff. Take my word on it. I have no way of guaranteeing that I will, but I'm saying I will, and I will. But if you want to give me money and join a community that I just started, there's no content for it. I created a Patreon. So the base level is $7.76. If you want to give me more money and get a little bit more access to me, you can give me $77 a month. That's a bit much for something with no content yet. But if you build it, they will come. And then just because, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, I included one to give me $777 every month. Because that would be super cool of you, and if you do, I will love you forever, because who does that? Maybe you will. I don't expect you to, oh my god. But that's what I'm selling at the moment. Eventually, I'm going to also do something that was my first idea, which is to sell t-shirts with my designs on them on Redbubble, because they make it really easy to just throw a design on and they do the rest. For those who want to buy it, they'll put your design on the t-shirt and send it to them. So that is how I am selling stuff. So that's the main part of the video. The rest is just going to be kind of a little bit of director's cut stuff, since I've already gone through all of the different requirements for succeeding in meeting the Mamba mode. I'm just going to go through ChatGPT for a little bit here. You don't need to watch this part, but it might give you an insight into what I've been working on and how I've built this. So when I first got started, I actually already had most of the content for my website already built in Notion. See how long this is? And I just needed to convert it from all of the content in Notion and take each page and turn it into HTML, which, real quick, I'll kind of show you again. There's a lot of pages here, and I pulled all of them from Notion. I haven't actually worked on any of the content for this video. I just used pre-existing content because that was easier for me to, just stay in website mode and not have to focus on what I'm writing, just transcribing what already existed. So I use a chat GPT called Grimoire, which I referenced in a song for one of my posts. But I'm just going to scroll through this somewhat quickly so that people get an idea of how I built this. Again, the video is complete as far as I'm concerned. This is all just filler to give those who are curious a little bit more insight into how I built this. I'm going to keep scrolling, but if you want to focus in on what I actually am writing here or what they say, just pause the video or slow it down and you'll be able to see what I said. So I'm just going through here. I'm asking about pictures, which I eventually put into an images folder and then just reference them kind of like this. For those who don't know HTML, you can just go like this. So the source is images, cover image, and that's sort of how that's organized. ChatGPT makes it really easy to do this stuff. Thank goodness for ChatGPT, because I wouldn't have been able to do most of this stuff without it, especially the scripts. It would have been a huge pain in the butt, and I just would not have bothered. This is just all content. Yeah. So here I'm asking if I missed anything, and I missed a few things. Here's an enhanced version of the CSS. This is a lot to scroll through. Again, you don't need to watch all of this. And I'm gonna maybe include a timestamp or something in the YouTube video if I take the time to do it. Although it's late, so I might not, at least not tonight. But I may or may not in the future make it easier to see on YouTube, because you can just kind of show like this part of the video is for this, this part of the video is for that. So I might do that. And here I'm frustrated because they keep on giving me a zip file with all of the files, and they keep on messing it up. And I was kind of mouthing off to the GPT. Here I am adding the cover because I wanted it to be a little bit more colorful, because I'm not a good visual artist, and I wanted to make sure this looks at least somewhat presentable. This was me. This was not the first I was doing. Let's see. So here's when I was asking about how to do the email to CSV conversion. Eventually, I settled on Google Sheets, or the Google Forms solution. So this is kind of irrelevant, but as a tribute to all the hours that I spent trying to get this to work, I'm going to go through it anyways. If not else, just to show how useful ChatGPT is for helping you make scripts. And I had some issues that, like I said here, I ran the script and each field just only had an asterisk, and it took a few tries to parse it, because this is when I had all of my form information being emailed to me, and then I needed to take that data and clean it up, put it into a table, and then send it. And then here it just talks about how there's time given triggers, or time-based triggers. I can't talk. Let's see. I'm not going to get to that one. I'm doing this for you guys because I'm pretty bored with this, and it's not good content. But I imagine somebody might want to see this. So for that somebody, this is for you. I feel like this is stretching way longer than it needs to, but I'm doing it anyways because maybe it'll be of value to somebody. But I think this is going to be the last GPT chat that I scroll through because it's stretching. And here, yeah, GPT messed up a few times. Okay. That's my website. I hope you like it. Look at the recursion. Isn't that beautiful? Um, yeah, I'm tired. It's like 1 a.m. for me. But I got this done. Hope you like it. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. And yeah, many blessings upon your journey, friend.